What's going on, family? This is your host, John, a.k.a. Jaye David, and you are tuned into another episode of the Cavalier Convos Podcast. This podcast is geared towards the black grassroots. So today, I got a few of my brothers on here with me. We got Dwayne in the building. What's up, brother?
Yo, what's good?
You got Kenny. What's good?
Yes, sir.
And we got my man, Reggie.
What it do, baby? What it do?
Appreciate y'all fellas, man, for being on. Shout out to all the listeners out there. Appreciate y'all tuning into us for another time. If y'all have not done this already, please subscribe to us both on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And also, if you haven't done so, follow us both on Facebook and IG. Just simply type in Cavalier Convos. So, I got my brothers with me, and on today's episode, we are going to be discussing some recent events happening in Black society. My question, and the question will be in regards to this whole episode, will be, where are the leaders in Black society? The reason I ask that is because in regards to the NBA and the recent, I guess you could call it, boycott, what effect is this truly, and the whole thing that they've done, right? The whole, I guess, social justice initiative or message or whatever they're trying to promote. Is this really bringing solutions to the table? Is this really something that's going to impact real change? Is this message that they're promoting, is it solving anything?
Who want to jump in first?
Yeah, go ahead.
You go.
Jump in.
I think, in my opinion, I believe it's not going to make a change right away, but it's making more people aware of a lot of things that was blind to everything that's going on. So if we looking for change right away, it's not going to happen. That's just like anything dealing with the civil rights and things. Things didn't change overnight. It took a time period for everything to change. So I look at it like this. It's going to take time for the change, but we just can't take our foot off the pedal. So if we starting something, we boycotting, like the basketball players, they boycotted. They did get something out of it dealing with the owners and things like that. They got something out of it, but they accomplished just a little bit, but they want to accomplish more. So I look at it like this. We making more of aware. Even the sports athletes, they looking at it now, being on television. More people are watching them anyway. So it's going to be one of those things. People are watching, they're getting more aware. They seeing that, okay, we got the athletes, we got the professionals are backing up. Because it's not just blacks. Sometimes you try to pull some other people that understand they need to open their eyes and listen to what we've been going through as black men or blacks in general, or brown, or however. They need to, sometimes they got to sit back and start listening, because it took even some famous athletes. They didn't understand it, but once they had other ball players sit down and talk to them about certain things, then they start like, you know what? I can't say I experienced it, but I understand what y'all going through. You know?
Yeah, I think let me say one thing first, and let me kind of disagree slightly on one aspect. I'm not personally calling it a boycott. I'm calling it a decision not to play. And the reason why I say that is because they are actually a unified league, including the owners in a lot of ways and upper level executives in the league. So I think it started with one team kind of taking that approach, but they are so unified. And I keep using that term because we've seen a lot of avenues of a lot of different things going on in this. Some people are calling it a movement. Others are calling it, like LeBron said, it's a lifestyle, all these different things, right? But as we move forward, that is a group that is very, very much unified. And so I'm saying initially, I'm not calling it a boycott. I'm calling it a decision not to play and a decision to work on some other things. So let me start there. Now, the next piece of it, in terms of the overall impact, let me say one thing first. The reality of the situation is, and I don't care whatever you're talking about in any walk of life, there are going to be things that certain people think are important and other people don't think are important. And what's going on right now, what we're seeing in the world is a lot of people are saying things like, I'm not going to watch the NBA anymore or the NFL if they do this, that, or the third, because it shouldn't be about that. Well, the reality is this. If you're a person sitting at home, whatever your thought process on anything is, if you think it's important to you, then it's important to you. If you don't feel as though what's important to me is worth you listening to, damn it, I don't have to listen to nothing you got to say neither. So let me start with that piece of it as well. Now, in terms of the impact that it's having, I agree with you, D-Lou. It is not going to be a quick response, right? I remember having a conversation when they decided not to play and somebody said, well, what is this going to accomplish? What are they asking for? And I said, I think they're asking for some small things that can happen immediately, right? When you talk about arresting the cops that killed Breonna Taylor, when you talk about arresting the cops that shot Jacob Blake, those are the things that they're looking for because they can happen fast. Overall systemic change is not going to happen in 20 minutes. It's not going to happen in 72 hours of not playing NBA basketball games. I think those players realize that. But I think the reality of the situation is they're trying to make sure that the rest of the world and the fans of the sport understand that they think the things that are going on in this country right now and have gone on in general for years and years and years are extremely important to them. Yeah. And they are willing to walk away from doing their daily job, right? Doing the things that people know them for, to make sure that there are other things that are going on. And we say this all the time, right? We've all been around athletes for years and the world of sport for years. We know that life is bigger than the game on the court.
It is.
Life is bigger than the game on that 120 by 53, the football field. Life is bigger than that. And these guys, these athletes and ladies, right, because the WNBA did the same.
Tennis players,
Major League Baseball had some games. All these different entities, right, understand and feel as though what is going on in this country and what they feel like needs to change is important enough to walk away from the job at hand that day because life is bigger than that. And so to me, I think what they're doing is important. But if we're asking if they're going to create this crazy, like long-lasting, overwhelming change in 72 hours, I think we would all be out of our minds, for lack of a better term, to think that something's going to happen in a 72-hour vacuum like that.
I agree.
Overall, I think the fact that they're doing a very good job at making people aware and showing solidarity in a lot of different arenas, not just basketball, but, you know, all the other sports, the MLS, and, well, the NHL is literally the only one that didn't.
Well, they actually came back the next day and did do some things. Because and I have to, one of the things that let me say that, and I don't mean to cut you off, but let me say this about the NHL because I'm not very adept at what goes on in that league, but I did have a conversation with somebody that I know that's very, very connected to the sport. And one of the things he told me, because I said, well, you know, I'm not surprised hockey didn't do anything. I don't know the background of the racial issues that they have had in that sport. And he started breaking down names and things that have happened in the past that I was completely unaware of. And so they did come back, because the NBA decided on Wednesday that they weren't going to play any games, and they didn't come back until the following Saturday. The NHL played on Wednesday, but they did not play on Thursday. So I think it's important to not forget that. But, yes, it did come a little bit later for them to, quote-unquote, respond or react or whatever. Yeah. But they did join in as well, as you were, tailor-made.
And thank you for correcting me.
I wasn't trying to do that in a disrespectful manner. I just, but want to give them a little credit.
I want people to put it all in perspective, though. So what we're seeing is a lot of people who have a platform, they're using it to make people aware. They're also using it to show solidarity between a lot of people with in this case, a common interest as far as professional sports. However, there are no promotions of solutions. No one's really asking for anything, and no one's taking a loss in terms of postponed games. Like, no one's taking it out, not even the owners. Like, they're cool with it. It's like, okay, we'll just play basketball
later,
on another day
and throw some money at it later.
But it's not about taking an L though. It's making people aware of what's going on.
How much awareness does this country need though?
Now I'm gonna tell you.
No. How much awareness?
Some people are still blinded to this day.
No, they choose. To be blinded.
That mean they blinded.
You can't fix it anyway.
Yeah,
but here's the thing, though.
They don't want to.
But here's the thing.
That you said it, D. Lou. They don't want. A lot of people don't want to.
They don't want to.
No one's asking for anything. Yeah. No one's saying in front of millions of people, here's what we need to do. here's what y'all should be doing. All it's great seeing solidarity and whatnot, showing so people can see compassion because this country lacks a lot of it. However, just in terms of actual change, these guys are not using the power that they really have. You know what I mean? And at the same time, they really do have some very rich people by the nuts and don't do anything about it. Like, to be honest, like, we've seen lockouts because their money ain't right, but we haven't seen no one literally their record reflect as far as their win-losses a game they did not play. That has not happened.
Let me make another point on the point that you just made. Hold on real quick, because because he said something there that I want to make sure the listeners understand, because you made the point that we've seen lockouts. Okay, that's a key word, lockouts, because lockouts are imposed by owners in the administration of the league. Yeah, a strike is player driven. We have not seen a strike in the NBA. We've seen strikes in Major League Baseball. We've seen strikes in the NFL. We have not seen it, to your point. We may see a lockout, but again, a lockout is owner imposed. So getting back to your point of the players, what I'm saying is getting back to the point of the players that he's making. If the players were to strike as opposed to get locked out, there's a difference in terms of who's making that decision and how that occurs. That's what I want to make sure that the listeners understand based on what TaylorMade was just saying.
It's specifically professional.
TaylorMade is Kenny, y'all.
Specifically in professional sports.
That's his brand, though.
Specifically in professional sports, like seriously, in any, especially football.
Yeah.
All it would take to watch one of these rich white men basically get on their knees is to simply not play. Because one, these people are the pinnacle athletes in the world, and they cannot be replaced. Fans do not want to see them replaced. If a team, just one, not even gonna say the whole NFL or the whole NBA or another, if one team decides that they're not going to play, meaning that they're going to forfeit every game, I can guarantee you the whole league will crumble.
But what is that going to do?
If they're asking for something,
it brings a shock.
That's not asking for nothing. Boycotting.
No, boycotting is asking for something.
Dwayne,
you're saying we're not going to resume.
You gotta
what
literally
we were doing.
ask for something. Boycotting don't mean you. I'm too. Okay.
See,
boycott don't mean you just asking for something, because everybody is boycotting. I know everybody wants somebody to get arrested and everything, but that's why they had. If you're reading up on it, like Jordan is the medium person between the NBA players and the owners,
right?
And he talked to Chris Paul, said, "Hey, what do y'all players want out of this?
Well,
y'all need to have something."
They don't know
out
what they want.
You know,
well,
but
I think that's an interesting point.
They
Go ahead.
don't know what they want.
But the thing
They
is,
don't know.
I'm gonna get
you
to that.
you can't make a arrest change. It's nothing we can really do until they actually make the arrest. We cannot force them to make the arrest.
Correct.
We can't stop police brutality just boycotted. It's something got to be changed inside the department itself. They got to be restructured. But they did ask for certain things dealing with voting that's coming up that's major.
Yeah. So
they did get a response for that. So that is something. You know what I'm saying? Because you're not going to get everything overnight. It's not going to change some of the people the way they think.
Yeah.
Even though
I agree with that.
Even though we could the football players could boycott, I could tell you one owner, he probably don't care who boycotts. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna call no names, but
I know who you're talking about.
You know what I'm saying? But he don't care. He'll quick say, "Oh, you gone. I'll replace you real quick," because he doesn't care, because he has money like that. So, like I say, if you get a whole football team that steps off, some owners be like, "Okay, I got you."
Yeah.
They can find you. They can still get money back. You know what I'm saying? So it's still, but you got to look at it. We talking about pro athletes. How many of us in today's world work with people in a society will just stop working or boycott your job and not get paid, and knowing you might get fired? So we asking athletes to do this, but we will not do it ourselves.
Yeah, I don't care.
Let me say this too, real quick, and I know I gotta shut up in a minute here, Jay, and let you get in, but I want to say this too, because I think this goes back to something I said earlier, right? Remember, I used the term unified, right, with the NBA, and they're all at least doing the same things. But I think to the points that are being made in this room, I think as you look at the entire quote unquote movement, I think you see a fragmented movement in terms of different pieces of the movement want different things as first priority things. I think if you, even us sitting here, right, as we talk to the listeners, I bet you if we asked the question, what do we think is most important, there will be at least 2 different answers between the 4 of us as to what we think the most important piece of this movement is. And so I think that's part of the problem is whether it's Chris Paul or LeBron James or Dak Prescott or, insert athlete name here or insert politician name here, I think we've got so many different people that feel like different things are the biggest, highest priority in this process. And that is part of why things are not able to happen potentially as quickly as they can, because there are so many different messages, right, going on in this movement about what is the most important and what should be prioritized a certain way. And I think that's part of the problem is everybody's got to find a way to get on the same page, and then you can move faster and move mountains quicker because there is a unified movement as to exactly what needs to be done first, second, third, and down the line.
Yeah, and I agree because it's very scatterbrained. I respect what they did. Like, I'm not in a position to say, yo, y'all should play or y'all shouldn't play. It doesn't matter to me. I respect the Bucks for coming out and people said, well, they should have consulted with other teams. No, like when you do something like
they stood
Consult with
together.
other teams. Like,
I don't need to get permission.
That was something that was talked about.
Yeah, it was
Amongst players.
Players were upset because the Bucks didn't consult with them. Because think about this, and like I always bring everything black to slavery. When there were certain black people or certain slaves, certain Africans who were trying to leave the plantation, you couldn't tell everybody.
No.
Because there'd be someone going back to
snitch.
tell and snitch.
It's like a business. You got a business on your mind. You can't tell everybody.
And what's the phrase? Instead of asking for permission, I'll just ask for forgiveness.
Yeah, like, no. So I respect what they did in that regard. I don't think they know what they want. I don't think they have the slightest clue of what they need or what the black community needs. Because, first of all, like, the message is very vague. It's not unapologetic at all. When I hear social justice, like, what does that mean? What does that mean? That can mean a whole bunch of things. The issue is not social justice.
They're
the issue
using
is
it as a catch-all.
Anti-black racism is the problem. It's anti-black racism. It's not anything else other than anti-black racism. It's being black people who are being attacked. It's not a social justice thing. A social justice thing could apply to white women.
Correct.
It could apply
That's
to
not wrong.
It could apply to Asians. It could apply to people with disabilities getting jobs.
It's an easy, safe phrase.
It's
that
a
people
safe
choose
phrase,
to use.
and it won't get anything. And like I sent y'all that article earlier today, the NBA players are worried that their message is not affecting any change. Why? Because it's not unapologetic. You have to be unapologetic with anything that you actually want to see change happen. And then the second thing is, there is no solution for black people without black dollars. Black people are trying to find any way possible to not use their money to get done what needs to get done. I watch a game. I see $500 million on the floor. Literally, black dollars on the floor. Are you telling me, like, and once again, I don't have a problem with them, sitting out or doing whatever. I don't have a problem with them playing. I don't have a problem if they kneel or they don't kneel. That don't bother me. But it's what you're doing with your money. You can't do anything. I'll give you an example. That white boy that shot all them people up at that protest. You know how much money they raised for his GoFundMe and for his legal fees?
Apparently, it was a Christian organization that did it at that.
Yeah. You know how much money they raised? They're serious about theirs, man. We aren't. We aren't serious. Until, and this goes for black athletes, this goes for people just in the black community. Until we put our money, until we're unapologetically black with it too. You have to be. If you create this vague kind of thing because you don't want to ruffle any feathers, you want to make white people uncomfortable, well, unfortunately, black people being free has been an uncomfortable thing for white society for as long as this country's been in existence.
And getting back to your point, talking about anti-black racism makes people that are not black uncomfortable.
You have
to make up, in order to change the system you have to disrupt it. If you don't disrupt, if you just keep going on with the get along, I ask people this: what does social justice mean? Put your finger on what does it address specifically? What does it address? Some person will be for one person be one thing, another person be another thing. Oh, for this LGBT rights. Oh, illegal immigrant.
Yeah,
it's
all encompassing,
and it's not. And then eventually, by the time you're done having a conversation with the owners, to sitting down with the owners, we're talking about voting booths in arenas, and we talking about giving money to a humpback organization for kids with one eye,
and a whiteboard in a locker room with all the notes on it from everybody, from all 12 players, and they're different what they think is.
And we get courts with Black Lives Matter, and we got jerseys with names and all these different things on them. Bring awareness, whatever. That's all right. I don't. Whatever.
And a bunch of people are like, "This is just a phase; it'll go away." In 6 months.
What is it addressing directly?
Well, can I address one thing? I know you were saying something about black dollars. One, as a black community, we don't support our own. We don't support our own businesses. We don't support our own banks. Let me tell you, people don't know it's over 42 black-owned banks in this country right now. It used to be over 70-some black-owned banks. From 2000 to 2009, it was a recession. A lot of them had to fold. Now, we got 42 black-owned banks. 21 of them based on credit unions. The other 21 are based on other banks. But do we support them? No. A lot of us don't. Some people don't even know we have black-owned banks.
They don't know they exist.
Yeah.
Right here in Charlotte. I bet you people don't even know that. We have one right here in Charlotte. But see, we don't support our black businesses. We don't support our black-owned. But we'll support everybody else. And a lot of times, a lot of people, like, I would say, some athletes or whoever, they might want to open up a business, but they feel like, why would I open this up when you don't even support what we got now? You get what I'm saying? So right now we need to start supporting our own for other things to start growing, because we don't support none of our whites, because our blacks. But the thing is, we'll go over here to this black restaurant, try to get a hookup, but then go down the street to McDonald's.
And won't ask a question about a discount. Yeah,
you get what I'm saying? And that's my issue I have with blacks itself. We don't want to support each other, but we always want to boycott something. We want somebody to do this and do that, but we won't support our own. We won't stand there and support. We won't go to some of these restaurants that black owned. We won't give money back to them. We won't do nothing, but we'll go to all these other restaurants and spend all this $80-some for one meal. $80-some for a meal where you can't even go spend $15 for a meal at a black owned restaurant. You get what I'm saying? So I feel that's one thing as a community we have to change. For anything to change, we have to start supporting. We got to start supporting. We got, like Reggie said, we got to come a one agenda. We got to be as one. At one point in time when everything was segregated, everybody was supporting blacks. Everybody was supporting. That's why we was all rich. We had Black Wall Street. You had things like that because we
forget about Black Wall Street. People forget about the way that the ports, right, in Wilmington, North Carolina, that was all black folks back in the day, doing their thing and basically building their entire economy around one another.
It takes money.
Why we have blacks have so much land? Blacks have land for years. This is the thing, right? Is that it? And this would, I've worked to try to get black people to understand. Is that it takes money to finance any type of revolution. If you don't have money, if you don't have any financial backing, you can scream, you could shout, you could run out there and protest every single day. But if you don't have money to buy weapons and food and take care of people, and you know what I mean, and I mean, it ain't gonna work. I mean, and that's the thing. What I said is like, when Kenny made the reference that they're not using all of the power that they have something that white people understand, and that's money. That is one of the number one languages they understand is money. They have dollars. Like I said, $500 million on the court. And, they could run. I mean, I like, getting people to vote. All right, cool. But you could run your own candidates with the money y'all got at local elections. Y'all could run to get the people in who's actually going to prosecute the cops and things like that. So, and like I said, they may not know. They may not have a sing. That's what I said. I don't think they know what they want. I don't think they know what they're trying to accomplish. Some of them athletes never grew up in certain areas, put it like that. some of them was already handed a lot of things coming up. So I can't speak for all of them. I know some of the ones that actually came out of the hood that know what living in a car or know what like to be hungry or something like that. Some of those, they understand a lot more, but they don't have, some of them probably don't have the backing of other people because they don't understand.
They don't have the understanding. It's what it really
everybody
is.
don't have the understanding. So you can't, I can't blame all NBA players or NFL players or whatever sports.
It's not about blaming. It's just, when too much is given, much is required at the end of the day. They've been given a lot, and they have a lot of talent and ability, and they have a lot of resources that they have. And yeah, they should be held accountable for what they have. Everybody should be accountable for what they have. Kenny, what are you saying though?
We do. Our efforts get split. So like we talk a lot about the mentality or the lack of in terms of what we do or what we don't do. But we don't talk a lot about really what makes things change or what you can actually change and what things just really there's no real point in trying to address. So number one, a bunch of people holler about like we need to end racism. So
that's not going
like, racism
nowhere.
never ends. It's
Good
always
luck.
gonna be here.
So
Good luck.
That white boy was 17, I think.
Good luck.
So it's like you
Racism
want to
always gonna be
change.
here.
You want to. So this people are literally saying, we need to change how everyone thinks. It's like, nah. Let's focus on the things like specific things. So let's just say right now, right? And these are things that could actually change overnight. And then you change enough. I don't even want to say small things, but you change enough situations. They eventually, there are habits that are created where people will stop doing certain things because they know what's coming.
Yeah.
So let's just say specifically, and since we're still talking about professional athletes, just to talk about something that they could ask for and actually could cause some change. Let's just say specifically, across the board, they say, we want Breonna Taylor's murderers brought to justice. And
That's something that can happen tomorrow.
That's a 3-week process.
But
Yeah,
no,
I was
what
saying
I'm
that's gonna be
saying,
a process.
That's a
no,
three-year
what I'm,
process.
no, they
But
can arrest
it can
them
happen.
tomorrow.
You said brought to justice. You said
You said
arrest.
rest.
Well,
That's
it's
the
like-
difference.
But that's the process,
The
yes. But the
process.
process can start
They
tomorrow.
have
don't disagree
not
with that.
started.
Yeah.
There has
There's
been no process.
the process hasn't
It
started.
hasn't even started.
Not
if
arguing
it's
with
brought
that.
to
They
justice, it's gonna
say-
take a while.
Yeah,
They
but,
not
arguing
but the
that.
process of
Absolutely
justice
correct.
We
should
say-
start
Yes.
Put
5
cuffs on-
seconds ago.
Put cuffs on them.
Yes.
Arraign them. No bond. They need to go to jail. We know what happens after that, but let's just say they say that. And they say, if this does not happen, we will not play another game. Now, the first person that affects is whoever owns the franchise. And then second is going to affect the NBA as a whole or whatever professional organization. And then thirdly is going to affect the networks.
Yeah.
So this thing, see here, it climbs just these one action from a group of people who actually do affect something. It climbs to the upper echelon of people's pockets that are controlling this whole thing from the top down. Now what happens is because now their money is affected in a way that they can't fix. They can't do anything about these people not playing. They could penalize them all they want. These people are saying, I will put my career, or I'll put my money. We're not going to say my career because let's stop playing. They're not going to lose their job.
Yeah, unless they have completely.
They're not
They have
gonna-
contracts.
They'll get paid to play ball somewhere.
They're
They have
not.
guaranteed
Well,
contracts.
they're
It's
not
fine.
going to lose their careers. Let's. They're not
Throw
going to
that
lose
out
their
the window,
careers.
right?
So now these people who are richer than them are losing money. They're losing money fast because their moneymaker or one of their big moneymakers is now not making any money. They're actually spending money and losing a lot of money. And then on up, the NBA's got a serious problem because now there's no basketball when you've got these TV deals, you got all this. They can't control it. Then the networks have something to worry about. That means these people that are higher up this ladder are now going to start to put pressure on the powers that be because it's affecting them. But the first thing that people will think is like, well, so they still going to like, they don't really think that they should be arrested. It's like, we don't give a damn what they think.
Right.
They
What
need
you
to
do.
go- They need to go to. They need to.
Yes.
Go, they need to go to
I don't
jail.
care about what you. That's what I'm saying. I don't care
I
what
need
you
to go to
think.
jail.
I didn't ask them to think.
When they go to court, let's just say they go to court. Okay, they get arrested. They go to court. They end up being guilty, and they end up being guilty or prosecuted correctly. because there was pressure on them. It's like, well, I mean, at the end of the day, though, they don't really think that they really deserve to be like. So what?
I didn't ask.
They got what they got
And
what they were
that's
supposed
the
to get.
thing that black people get mixed up. You can't change people's hearts.
Yeah, no.
That's God's job.
And let me make this point while we talking about this. I'm gonna make two real quick points here. Number one is this. And I want, like, if you're listening at home and you know somebody or have heard somebody make a stupid ass comment like this, make sure you bring up what I'm about to say right now. Okay? It's amazing to me how people are trying to talk about Jacob Blake's record from his past. And I'm not saying it's right at all. I don't know what happened, but apparently there are some things on his
Record.
in his background, on his record. My response to that is the same officers that killed Breonna Taylor once ran up in the wrong damn house before her house. So if you want to bring up Jacob Blake's past, damn it, let's talk about what's on the jacket of these cops too. That's where I have the problem, because everybody's quick to run to that with a black man. Oh, George Floyd had this on his record, and Jacob Blake had that on his record. Y'all don't want to talk about what's on them cops' jacket? Y'all gonna ignore
they
that
didn't talk
shit?
about what the cops that killed George Floyd. They ain't talk about their record because they got a lot of stuff on their record, but
jacket.
they don't bring that up. But that's social
The
media.
problem,
I feel like,
and Dwayne, to what you're saying is, when white people say this stuff, I don't care. It be when black people say that stupid stuff.
Well, yeah,
That's what infuriates me. White people, they gonna do that. They gonna be white.
Yeah, and
White
the
people
second
be
point,
white people in it up.
They gonna
and the
be
second
white.
point, and the second point to make is this, and I want to make sure everybody's listening to me when we say this, right? Because I'm gonna speak for all four of us sitting here. We are not saying that everything has to be done by athletes. We're discussing athletes because that's the most recent action, right? That was different than what we've seen. The reality of the situation is, and I think this is part of the problem in the black community as well, we look to athletes and entertainers
to be the
to lead everything.
Yeah.
That's not, we need to look at our elected officials as well that look like us and the ones that don't look like us that, damn it, we give them a vote.
Yep.
And the other thing we need to do is look within. Right? All of us here, again, have been around athletics, right, a long time in our lives. And one of the things that we all heard as a kid is the eye in the sky don't lie, or look your ass in the mirror. At the end of the day, the tape of what you're doing, the image that you see in the mirror, and the decisions you make every day is what shapes what's going on. And you damn well better be doing your part too.
on top of that, I always was taught, don't ask somebody to do something that you're not willing to do yourself.
That's it.
You know what I'm saying? So
don't tell LeBron James to do something you ain't gonna do.
You're not gonna do. You know what I'm saying? So I look at it like this: if I boycott, if I'm at my job now, we are very vocal with certain situations that's going on in our job because we had a lot of issues going on with doing to everything that's going on. So with us, we had an action meeting, brought it to attention. You know what I'm saying? But they come apologizing and everything, but everybody like, yeah, I get the apology. But you still don't see the point. You know what I'm saying? So it's like everybody say, oh, they hot on it right now, but wait, next week it's going to be brushed under the rug. And that's why everybody think about what's going on now. It's probably going to be a phase, and it's going to be brushed under the rug. You know what I'm saying? And even after the George Floyd, things start getting quieter and quieter and quieter until what happened to Jacob Blake. Then all of a sudden, it jumps back up. You get what I'm saying? So I get what some people say is always a phase. We don't keep it going. We don't keep it going. Like, I know they did the march anniversary for Martin Luther King this past week, right? In D.C. Yeah. A couple other places, a couple other cities, I know they also did a march just for the anniversary and things like that. It was good to see a lot of people out there supporting everything. But my point is, what everybody wants justice. We want somebody to get arrested, but we're not putting out nothing on paper. Like, we asking, but we not pushing the issue. And also, talking about it.
And also, and I say this to not only the black community, right, but these businesses that are sliding out these little haphazard, low-level statements saying we care. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
Besides, them businesses claim they donated.
What are you gonna do?
Besides spread awareness.
What are you gonna do?
I mean,
what are you gonna do? I know it sounds like a broken record. What are you gonna do?
Hey, just like them businesses say, we donated so many millions of dollars to HBCUs. Where is that money at?
Well, not only that, but I'll give you a better one. Hey, we really believe we're going to donate some money to the NAACP. Okay, that's great.
What?
You still,
excuse me?
But you hold on. But you have 30 executive vice presidents, and 0 of them have any melanin in their skin. What are you gonna do?
I'm gonna piss somebody off. All the money the NAACP we raising. Where the hell is that money?
Nobody knows. I'm gonna be honest with you. We don't know. I can't say they putting it here or putting it there.
My thing is
that,
don't know. And this goes to my other point. Are there people in the black community?
I can find that out though.
Are there people? Listen. Are there people in the black community appointed to intentionally mislead black people?
Let me tell you. Not only are there people who are appointed to mislead black people, but there are also like the black people that sort of
appointed by who? Hold up. Appointed by who though?
All right. So and then this is the thing, right?
Those who are trying to mislead.
Listen. White supremacy. People have a very emotional understanding of white supremacy. They see a person with a Klan robe or a redneck or someone with a MAGA hat or someone, all that kind of stuff.
Confederate flags.
Right. That's that. This thing has evolved.
Trump pins 20.
Yeah. This thing has evolved. This thing has white supremacy has evolved to a point where they've reassessed their tactics.
Because they know people can't say no to money.
But they've reassessed their tactics. So what we assume, and that's true, what we assume is that there's certain things that from an outward or someone says just labels them as a white supremacist, not necessarily like actions or things that they do behind closed doors or certain things that they think. So we have an assumption that just because someone hangs around black people, has black friends, helps a black person here and there.
By the way, if you can count how many black friends you have, you're racist as hell.
I mean,
just saying that.
It's a very and people and us as black people are not fully educated on, because what white supremacy does, right? I believe Neely Fuller said this. White supremacy takes both sides of the argument. So while one white supremacist is pointing like, look over there, like, look what they did to you. And the other one is saying, no, what do you mean talking about? Like, we're on your side. They're terrible. At the same time, it's still the same game being run on you. Malcolm X gave a analogy in regards to the white liberal and the white conservative. One is like a fox, one is like a wolf. When a fox looks at you, it almost looks like he's smiling at you and he's grinning at you. At the same time, the objective is still the same. The objective is still to eat you, but one has a different way of going about it. Mm-hmm. So when I say, are there black people that are intentionally appointed to mislead black people, that's what I'm talking, because no group of people have ever been oppressed that were not complicit in their own oppression. Even in Nazi Germany, there was Jewish people who were complicit, who were telling Jewish people, oh yeah, don't worry about it, everything is okay. They're not really gonna. At the same time, money, like Dwayne is saying, the money or the safety,
what comes with safety? Money.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing, and that's what I mean by that is that.
I don't mean to cut you off, but so them people that you saying that's
appointed,
it's the mighty dollar. Somebody come approach a person with $100,000 knowing they need it. Yeah. It's hard for them to say, nah, I can't take it. It's hard for a person that that a person know that they need $100,000. It's hard for them to just say, nah, I ain't selling out my people for $100,000. But back in their head, they go like, shoot, I could take care of this, my family. You know what I'm saying? So you got to think about it. It's the mighty dollar that what gets a lot of blacks.
It's that greed.
Yeah. It's called powernomics.
No, I wouldn't. I mean, Dr. Clown Anderson, you know who that is, right?
Yeah. But when you attach money to something, money is generally looked at as power. Yeah. And money is also economics, powernomics.
I mean, this country is full of like this country was bred for everyone to be selfish. So whether it don't matter what color you are, you can always get someone to have your side by focusing on their own selfishness.
What they need.
So it's like specifically, if you're talking about somebody who ain't really got it, you focus on their selfishness by offering them some money. Somebody else who may be afraid of damn dying, you play on their selfishness by making sure that they're safe. Like, I can protect you. So let's rock this way. And it's done all the time, and it's done with so many different things.
It's
easy because it's easy to do it with black people in this country just because of how we've been just generationally broken down. So it's already a lot, but at the same time, they still play on the same people who would align themselves with the things that we need. They do the same things to them. So the same way you look at this poor white person as a Trump supporter, you're like, what in the, like, how does this even make sense? But
they got a reason.
Somebody is playing on their selfishness to get them to get behind something that makes zero sense to their own interests, because somebody is serving their specific interests just by themselves, just solo. Like, all right, they got me, so all right, I'm gonna say whatever they want me to say. And so when you ask about like black people who are appointed to mislead us, it's not even just that. At the same time, there are these other black people who they consider safe. You know, when you hear somebody say like
safe Negroes,
you know how you hear somebody say, they'll say some crazy shit about black people, right? And then they'll go to this black person that
knows will agree with them.
Not like you. You're one of the good ones.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure y'all have heard somebody say that verbatim. You're not you. You're one of the good ones.
It's smart.
Like,
you're a smart black guy.
What the hell?
You're one of the. You articulate stuff really well for a kid that's from.
I'm on a wish creed. I wish somebody would say that to me.
No, not you. You're
I'm just saying. I'm not.
You're one of the good ones.
It's not that I look for it, but certain things you look like. I be waiting, just like, please say something, because even the thing is, the way my hair looks now, a lot of people, I get misjudged. Because the first thing they like, oh, you one of those. What's one of those? But you see me with a shirt and tie on, you think it's something totally different. When I walk in that store with my flip-flops and my sweatshirts on, you look at me different. But when I come in that dress, oh, hey, how you doing? Welcome to, I'm like, oh, now you see me.
You're one of the good ones.
Yeah, you get what I'm saying? So they look at you, the outer image, the image of you, the outside the book, like they say, don't never judge a book by its cover. So you're already judged by the outside of the look. So you might come in, you might be tall, 6'9" or whatever. They like, oh, we know he played basketball, boom. They already like, oh yeah, he you play for Charlotte, you play for the Hornets, you know what I'm saying?
Panthers.
They gonna think, they gonna say stuff like that
all the time.
They gonna say stuff like that. So
I ain't even tall.
They gonna approach you totally different, compared to somebody else. But like you say, them people, you got those people, like you say, you one of the good ones. I like to tell people, you just don't know.
Most of the time, they say that person is, like you were just talking about, is that black friend.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And they're saying, you're one of the good ones, because odds are, over the course of their friendship or whatever kind of relationship that they have, somehow you've capitulated to the things that they like, believe in, fuck with, or whatever, and they know that about you. So your background and all this other stuff you may do, none of that matters. They just know that
when they're around,
that your beliefs align with them a certain way. So like, you're one of the good ones. And so all these other black people they don't know nothing about, they make all these assumptions,
generalizations, things like that.
Except for you though, because
I know you. We hang out.
I saw you argue with another black person about Trump or some shit.
That's just I made me think about being at work and being in the military, going through certain things, and at one point in time, you could tell separation. Blacks over here, all the whites over here. You could see the separation, that it just automatically just drew like that. It wasn't saying they was racist or everybody racist. It just automatically just formed like that, because we got certain things that are totally different in common. So, but when you have to work with them people, some of them will listen, understand what you're saying, but then you got those, they fake it until they get rid of you, or fake it till you gone or they gone. Because you got people that work with you. They look different than you. They act like they like you right now, but as soon as they leave, You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying all. I'm never gonna say all because I know some good people, but you got people that's like that. So, and a lot of us blacks, we get blinded by some of the things that we see.
And let me make a point about something Kenny said earlier about, as you look at this thing and you mentioned the concept of basic level of selfishness, right? Let us not forget, and I'm not justifying, I'm not explaining away. I'm saying the reality of the situation is what essentially is being asked by black folks right now is for white people to give up privilege, which is inherently something that people don't want to do. They are too selfish to give up what makes things easier for them. Again, I'm not saying it's right. What I'm saying is that is the fundamental, to me, baseline of a lot of what is happening is we are saying to people, right, we as the black community, as people of color, right, brown people, black people, people that are not Caucasian are asking Caucasian people to give up some of your privilege.
I mean, but they can't, though.
They don't want to.
No, but they don't want to. But they can't literally get rid of their privilege. It's there.
No,
and even
the reason why they can't is because
it's not beneficial to them either.
But it's a system.
No, it's the thing that protects them.
Here's the thing. I'm not saying any of these.
No. I'm not just no.
I'm saying is that's what is being required. That is what's being requested. Asked of whatever.
You can't reason with someone who believes that your very existence is a detriment to their existence genetically. That's really what it's based on. It's based on genetic survival.
Bro, you just kicked a 75-yard field goal with that statement right there.
So people think you can actually reason with this kind of thinking. And once again, like what Dwayne said, I'm not looking to find out who's a white supremacist, who's an undercover white supremacist, which is more dangerous than the one that you see in front of your face.
Yes.
Okay. And that's the thing that black people, I see posts, black people saying, white people, you need to talk to your black friend. What? Black people, please stop it, man. Like, because it shows, because it's almost that society knows how black people are insecure, that we just can't, like, don't y'all get it? Like, get it through your skull. Like, this is not a place that is made for you. We would rather you not be here. And for a lot of black people, they just don't want to accept the fact that you are in a competition. It doesn't mean that you treat people bad or you hate people hate is an energy and is an emotion that I don't think that is productive to black people. Hating white people is not going to improve our situation. We need to love ourselves more.
Yes, say that one more time.
We need to love ourselves more. We don't love the problem is not that we hate white people. One of my family members say something crazy like black people focus too much on race. Black people don't focus on race enough. We don't love ourselves. we don't look after another. Like what Dwayne would say, we don't support one another. We aren't unapologetically black. We want to be everything. I'm black in this, or I'm black in Hispanic, or I'm biracial, or I'm black in, I'm black in trans, or I'm black in this, or I'm black in all this other stuff. But we don't love ourselves. We don't love the other black person next to us. So that's the biggest issue, because
no support. All
of our solutions are going to come from black people. They are not going to come from white people. It's impossible to have. It's a mathematical equation that is impossible. It's not happening. We have a problem. We have Stockholm syndrome. We just want to keep running back, hoping that these people will solve our problems for us. They don't want to. They have no desire to. And they've evolved the way they go about the form of oppression, and our minds have not evolved to catch up to the game that's happening in front of us. And that's the biggest problem. We gotta start thinking. We gotta start being selfish. There's nothing wrong with that. What is the problem? What is the issue with looking after your own? I don't get the problem with it, but
we're too busy. We're still too busy.
Well, they're
asking for something.
And
we're still too busy waiting for some. We're still not waiting, but we're still too busy thinking that for things to be better for us, somebody has to give us something.
man.
And busy being divided, right? Because there are a bunch of people that are black that have an issue with everything that these athletes are doing. And to your point earlier, John, they can do whatever they want. They are doing what they think needs to be done to help the situation. The problem is, as a whole, everything is fragmented.
And you want to know why? Because nobody wants to be black. If everybody wanted to be black, it wouldn't be fragmented because everybody would work in the best interest for black people. But we don't work in the best interest for black people. We're fragmented because there's so many other agendas that matter more than being black.
You just brought up something, and this is personal. It's hard for me to grasp the fact that somebody would not feel the way that I do about me being black. So another black person, I would find it I would not be able to grasp. I know just personally, regardless of all of our own setbacks, there's no way on God's green earth that I would want to be anything else besides black. I don't care where you drop me. You can drop me anywhere on this earth.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be anything but black. And I cannot personally grasp when another black person can't say that or doesn't say it because they don't really feel it. I can't even grasp that.
That's insanity to me.
I can't even grasp that. I can't grasp another black person, even if they don't say it, just still feeling like sorry for themselves because they're black.
The question to ask a black person is, what is the most important issue for you living in this country? If the answer is not destroying racism, destroying white supremacy, then that's because every issue in our existence in this country comes down to that one statement. If you want to talk about the single fathers, the abuse, everything, the disenfranchisement, the displacement, the economic disparity, everything goes down to that thing. So, like, we as black people ask ourselves, like, what matters more? Is global warming more important? Is illegal immigration more important? Is, me being able to drink out of a water fountain more important? What is the most important? What needs to be eradicated from society? You know what I mean? So, yeah, we may have to talk about this some more another time, man. But I think we went over time here. But most definitely, these are real questions we all got to ask each other and ask ourselves more than anybody, and really have an internal understanding. Because, like you said, Reggie, and what Dwayne said, basically what everybody said, we don't love ourselves. That's really what it comes down to. And until we love ourselves, until the mind changes, ain't a damn thing changing.
Let me say, some people say they love themselves, but they don't understand what you mean when you say we don't love ourselves. They might say, "Oh, I love myself." They talking about themselves in the mirror. No, we talking about black people as a whole.
Yes,
we don't love ourselves as a whole. Not just talking about yourself. Now, some of y'all might, but we not talking about that person that's in the mirror all the time. You might love yourself to death. You do everything, but what about that other person next to you? Do you love them enough to, hey, I got you?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Not like we all play sports. When we was on the field or on the basketball court, you like, I got you. You know what I'm saying? We knew we had each other back playing sports. But when we come out to the community, none of us want to have each other back. It's just like playing sports. If you're going to have each other back when you're on the field, on the court, on the baseball field, on tennis, wherever, same thing in the community. Have each other back.
That's a good analogy.
That's great.
Because this is a game.
It's just a game. And
it's a race.
It's a marathon. That's all it's saying.
It's a race.
He's using the term.
I know. I get what you're saying. I just say we got to work with each other.
Facts.
On the way things will get better, we got to stop going against each other, stop the killing, stop hurting each other. for one. We got to stop all this as
Well,
blacks.
and that goes back to the fragmented piece of it, because if we're at war with each other, how the hell can we be at war with racism in this country? If we killing and fighting each other, how we gonna fix the other problems?
We got to fix what's home
Gotta
first.
fix ourselves.
Gotta get out of fragmentation.
Sweep around your own front door before you sweep around mine.
Hey, if
You know what I'm saying? I don't know if y'all heard that before.
If you
but
don't like snakes in the grass, you better make sure yours is cut.
Amen.
we go
Amen.
old school.
Amen. Well,
I learned them up.
That's a good point, brother. But yeah, man, this has been dope, man. So appreciate y'all listening. We will be back with some more soon. And peace, yo. God bless.
All love.
One.
Peace.